What time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, who wants a treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Like that has to be the most perfect visual to see before rolling into this ugly mug right here as we kick off another edition, the Tuesday edition of your show. My name is Gary. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. If not, you've come to the right place to turn it around, because that's what we do around here. Everyone who walks into this building, they always say their day just gets better. So thank you for joining us. And if you ever want to come by, let us know. We'd love to have you in the studio, as there's always a lot of fun going on. And we actually have a studio dog, if you can believe it. You just saw her. She even has her own camera. Let's take a look at that cam right now, as it is time for the Maggie Cam. There she is. Ran out of breath there. Whew. That's why I love going live, man. You can't hide that. Hey, if you got a little breath, you're going to have to wear it on camera. The Maggie Cam for our incredible friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer, Mike and Rochelle and their dog Leroy, who just so happens to be dating Margaret, that dog you see right there. Always happy to make your day so much better. Just like this studio, you walk in there and your day instantly becomes better. No matter what you need for your pets, they got you covered. As well, on the weekends and after hours, Kirsten, Shar, and Chris are there to take care of you. All the best stuff goes down over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Look at that. We got a tired puppy. She's had a long day today, as we were doing a lot of work in here. As well, Tuesdays have become a special day. Just like Wednesdays around here, we usually get our main man, Adrian, from Australia, author, speaker, and all those things. So tomorrow we'll be checking in with him. On Fridays, we get the Pastor Bedtime crew in, as well as we get the amazing Commander Cookout podcast crew in. And Tuesdays, we like to check in with these two guys I would love to present to you now. As we look over, we could use a flip back here from the Maggie Cam fellas. Thank you very much. They're flirting in there. It's the boys! Hey! The All Eggs Podcast! Woo! Again, always live. For good or bad, we're always doing it, boys. We got lots of training and learning going on.
I like how you look at him for good and then you look at me for bad. Shush.
You just saw the Bamford & Co. podcast. We were doing a bunch of new episode recordings of that this afternoon. So Marge has been hard at work. That's why she is so tired. This is Matt from all the bands and Uncle Mike and all of his all-natural products. Every Tuesday we hang out, we record before the show. We do a little show called the All Out of Angst podcast. Every Thursday, a new episode drops there, and you can find it anywhere you find your audio podcasts. And we did a double-decker last week because we knew the studio would be filled this week. So we got a new one coming out, and then we'll record another new one next Tuesday as we get back into our routines. It's a lot of talking just to set up our conversation.
Really is,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm talking all day. I'm sick of talking. How you doing?
Good, yeah. I was kind
Talk
of
to
like
me, dude.
a little bit of a sad puppy today when you messaged. You're like, yeah, we're not doing all out of angst. And I was like, can I still come for the show?
I was wondering why you said, like, you guys,
is everything
till the end of time. This is your guys' time slot, okay? This is your show. So this is your share of your show. So every Tuesday, it doesn't matter if we do the podcast or not, you're always here. And we're going to keep on, growing and building because everyone's become invested in us as characters. And they like to follow along and see what we're up to. And we've got a lot to get to because just from our 30 seconds of talking before we went on the air, literally 30 seconds, so what are we talking about? There's a lot of stuff happening in each other's lives here. So let's start with you, Matt, from all the bands. Tell us what's new and exciting in your world.
Okay, are we talking, do we want music? Do we want life?
Life stuff. Let's get into some life stuff.
Okay, so in the last few weeks, our landlord put up a little, kind of, I guess, notice saying, that someone's been breaking in and stealing the loony coinage, from our laundry or whatever. And it was kind of like a little bit of a pointed, like, make sure you're not giving out your keys and this and that. And it's like, we're a pretty tight community in our apartment building. We're
have to be nowadays, I think,
we don't
with the
let
way everyone
anyone
is,
in unless we know them. And
Seinfeld?
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know you.
So Monday I had the day off, and I see this sketchy guy, kind of like 50s, wearing a bunny hug, and he kind of like strolls up to our apartment
Shady
building, and
already.
I'm just
I
like,
see where this is going.
maybe he could know the guy upstairs, but I had a vibe, so I
Right.
like went and grabbed my phone because I was gonna do like, when you're like filming a Karen or something, and you're like, yeah. So he walks up, and I heard a little ping, and then he was just in. So obviously he like jimmies the door open or has some
Oh,
sort
so it
of
wasn't a key.
No, it wasn't a key.
Okay.
And then he walked downstairs. This is when I opened up the door to my my suite, and he just like looks down, and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And like I'm trying to like, I don't want to be like, "What are you doing here?" Like
Right.
I was trying to be like
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
friendly, but like inquisitive. Like, how did you get in here? He's like, someone buzzed me, and I'm like, no, they didn't. And he's like, and then I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm visiting someone. I'm like, no, you're not. And then so at this
Answering
point,
for him.
he starts to get sketchy, and he starts walking back up, and I'm kind of like, because he had like obviously his like prying tool in the one, and he
Whatever
had a
he was
phone.
working with,
so I was
yeah.
like, I wasn't sure if he had like a knife or something. So
Right.
I was kind of like cognizant of that.
This is a legit situation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, at this point, I pull out my phone, and I'm like, are you the one that's been stealing the coinage or
On
whatever?
camera, like you record him?
But what happened when I pulled out the phone? It's towards me.
Oh,
so so then I have to like switch around. Like he doesn't know this, but at this point, he's already like put his head down, and he started walking
Right.
away. And then I've got the footage. I'm like, how did you get in here? And it was like all calm. And then I like called Erin and said like, what should I do? She's like, you should probably call the police. So I ended up like calling the police and
Oh, yeah.
kind of giving a description or whatever. But
Yep.
it was still kind of like, after it happened, I was like, that kind of got my adrenaline going, because
yeah.
like it could have, if he was like aggressive when and again I didn't want to like start. I just like, what are you doing here?
Yep.
And this is my place, and I feel like it's like an invasion of my privacy.
For sure.
For sure.
That could have been anything. You have no idea what kind of crime you sort of stopped from happening with that
But
situation.
so it's good. Like hopefully he's now just sketched. Like, and the thing is, our landlord has taken out the like the loony. Like now we just like put a loony in, and it like starts it. But like he's not
the
collecting them.
collection's
He's
not-
not
Oh, yeah.
collecting anymore. Like hopefully the guy saw that. But either way, my landlord had came over. He's like super thankful, and it was
Aw.
like it felt kind of cool. Like that
Yeah.
it all worked out well, and like
How many
Caught
suites are in your building?
there's 7.
That's it.
Oh,
hey?
yeah.
So you
Yeah.
guys
You
are
would
super
know.
close
Like,
knit.
we
Exactly.
know
Yeah.
everyone,
Yeah.
and like we do our little like
parties? I've seen the potlucks out in
and
the
all
little
that kind of
grassy
stuff.
area
Yeah.
out back,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
we're looking out for each other. But yeah, that was good, and it was like scary because like our neighbor, she just got home, and she was just about to do some laundry. So like 3 minutes, she could have been down there. He could have came down, and like not like he seemed fairly like benevolent, but still
Right.
like
Who knows? You never know. Right.
That's the whole point. And even what you did, everything you did was correct and right by the book, to the T. There's still gonna be people who are gonna be upset with everything, and that's the problem with where we're at as a society. Is even you going out and protecting not just yourself but the people of your building. People would look at that and say, you can't treat people like that. And we don't do politics, we don't do religion here. I just want to give you props for being a guy that's like looking out for family, because that's what you did.
And honestly, I have no problem with this guy. I know he's down on his luck and probably has addiction issues, and that's like I feel, but this is my building.
Right.
It's your house,
Yeah,
man.
it's-
It's your
yeah.
property.
It's a different,
If
a
someone
different
walks
situation.
into this studio right now and says, "Oh, I'm supposed to be here for an interview," no, you're not.
Yeah, it's just
Like, what are you doing? And then all of a
Right.
sudden we got a problem, and then we got to take care of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
So
good.
that was kind of like the
That's
it's
adrenaline. You
not
got
a
me-
high. It's
you
not a
got me
highlight, but it
fired
was
up.
like it was the thing.
Yeah.
of
It's
It's
mine.
a lifeline.
life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lifeline. That's
Life
something
lifeline.
that happened to you. Now, please tell me that your lovely, beautiful wife, Erin, was so impressed by your display of manliness
Knight in
that she
shining
really made
armor.
it a good night for you today.
I felt pretty cool. I don't know, but like
my hero.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't
like,
know.
Popeye.
yeah,
Another olive
I don't
oil
know.
for you.
I'd like to think that she probably thinks I'm cool.
I think she does. If we do, I'm pretty sure she does
She
too.
probably thinks you're cool all the
Yeah,
time, not
okay.
just when you're,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
scaring
reason you
potential
guys are in
Let's
love.
just keep telling
robbers
ourselves
off.
that.
Yeah. It's not just that beautiful face,
That's right.
you know?
Yeah.
So you've had some stuff going on now, from heavy stuff over to some light stuff. as Uncle Mike went out and did something over the weekend, and it's one of my most favorite things for families to do. Tell us what happened, bro.
Well, our family grew a little larger over the weekend.
Yeah, baby.
We got a new little dog.
Woo!
Puppy!
Yeah.
Ooh, puppy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mark. You have to make some room.
Yeah, she's 2, so she's not quite a puppy. It was a rehome situation kind of thing.
Well, that's
and-
the same age we got Maggie.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 2.5 years.
Yeah, so it's good. Like you're not going through the puppy stuff of waking up, all
Exactly.
hours and
It feels like you're cheating the system a bit. Eh?
A little bit, yeah.
I
You're like,
told
oh,
you
kind of
guys,
one step
I
ahead.
haven't taught this dog a thing, and she's one of the greatest dogs ever.
Yeah.
If someone put in all the puppy work, I
Yeah.
just got her when she became an old dog, I guess, compared to a puppy,
Yep.
and legit the greatest dog ever. And I still don't know why, and it makes me wonder about all the work that went into her with her previous owners. But they just found her.
Someone
and-
had to do it.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's
So
just nice
sorry
that it wasn't you.
for the rant.
No,
yeah, but
no,
that's a
um,
big bonus.
Yeah, so kids are pretty stoked. I mean, I'm pretty stoked. She's pretty cute.
Well,
and,
yeah.
What was the
and,
name? You didn't tell us the name yet.
It's Penny.
Penny.
Yes.
Oh, Penny.
Yeah. So it's a Greater Swiss Bernese Mountain Dog cross. So and
We
the
shoulda
kids
got
were
you-
like,
we should have got you to send the picture of the boys so we could put them on screen.
oh
Put
yes,
her on
yeah, we
screen.
could have, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kids for whatever reason, I think we went to the Berry Barn a few years ago for like Mother's Day or something, and they had some Bernese Mountain Dogs there, and the kids were just like, oh my god, these are the best dogs ever. So they were really on the lookout for Bernese Mountain Dogs, and then this one just happened to come up, and yeah.
You want to go ahead and email that picture to the boys? Just to the damn email.
Oh, nice.
I can.
And by the way,
yeah.
if you ever want to send us anything, feel free. We love serving these up. We got them even bigger now, so my mom and dad can see it. Check us out. It's the elderly. Not that my parents are elderly, but the
enhanced.
bigger size. We went shopping to the place. It's way longer now. Hey, look at that. Contact at dufferinave.com.
Man, you make that look easy.
I've done it a lot, brother. I can only
Oh,
go so far.
I
out.
see
Like,
what's-
super
yeah, I
nice.
see what's
That's what I
happening
mean.
now.
Come
Yeah.
on down.
There.
Contact us. Let us know what's up. Anything you want to talk about, advertising, you want to start shows, you want to promote any events like the Gambate going on this weekend over at TCU Place. We're going to be there. Just let us know, and we'll make all of that magic happen. My grandma was working on the old phone the other day, and she couldn't hear anything. So Dad and I yesterday, we went out and spent the morning looking for they call it the amplifier phone. So it's like a phone with all the big numbers, and it's extra loud for people that have gone up in age. So
I'm
I've been
gonna
on
need
this
this in
kick
about 2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But we went to 3 different stores, didn't have them, and I got this amplifier thing that you plug your phone into and then plug it into the wall. But Granny has a cordless phone. So that didn't work either. And then while we were there, I looked at it again because before she said the ringer wasn't working, so I turned the ringer up on the phone. It took me like 10 minutes to figure out how to do that. And then the volume actually on the phone, the talk volume, it goes up and down with a little circle thing. And if you have any parents or grandparents who are having issues with the phone, that little circle thing gets hit a lot in the face, is what we learned. They can turn the volume up or down. So she's been turning the volume down by putting it up to her face.
Mhm.
So I turned it up, and I think we got it fixed. And the reason I'm talking about the big sizes is, again, because we've increased our sizes here because people say it's tough to see. So
Right.
as we grow older, we like to make things bigger so we can all see them.
Big and bold.
That's it. Now, how close are we to seeing my sweet, beautiful Penny? Now, was this Penny from Inspector Gadget?
Well, it was. I mean, that was her name already.
So
So
with
we're
this one.
instead of like
They're already used to it.
changing and confused and like
That's
as
a
in-
big part of that as well. When you're 2 years plus, you've had that name for 2 years.
Yeah.
Why would
yeah,
you change
it's
it?
not and like I don't know. I guess I feel kind of, someone else has raised her up until this point. So I think, like, I don't know.
wanna
I'd
show
feel weird
respect to
about
that. Yeah.
exactly. I'd feel
Exactly.
worried about
Oh, yeah.
renaming and then out of respect for
Dude,
for the dog
that's-
itself. It's
I
like
couldn't
no, this
imagine
is-
calling this little rascal anything else but Maggie.
Yeah.
Just because they're so used to it, like you said.
Yeah.
And they're like grown dogs. Like you
Right,
said, oh, there we
exactly.
go. Look at
Oh, my
Penny.
goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, she's
Man.
That's it. I've been cut.
she's pretty cute.
Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it this way.
Matt from all the beds, you never looked so good. Oh, look at that. That's the kids just loving.
Oh yeah. And I mean that's
Look at her big smile.
Oh,
she
yes.
really loves the loves,
That is
you know,
a
and
gorgeous
she's like she's a little
dog.
shy. Like it'll take maybe a little getting used to.
You can see in her face right there. That is a happy
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's quite happy. But we we brought her home,
look
and
at
she's pretty sneaky. She actually got out of her leash or out of her collar. Like we had her home for like 10 minutes, and she slipped out of her collar and took off into the bushes. And I put on, I think, 15 kilometers walking, looking for her throughout the bush because we have a lot of bush out there.
Yes, you do.
And it basically took. We called the old owners, and they were super awesome. Obviously, want what's best for the dog and for us. So they were gracious enough to come out, and it took them 20 minutes of kind of searching around. And obviously Penny was recognized the lady's voice, right? So she came out right away, and then we put a harness on her. And she actually slipped out of the harness Monday morning as well. She was very slippery. At that point, though, Amanda was able to call her back because at that time, we had spent a little bit of time with her, and so Amanda, obviously, she recognized Amanda's voice, and now she's like, calming down and getting more comfortable, and we're showing her the property and whatnot. So
that's an interesting angle too, is knowing the previous owners.
Yes.
Like that's the one big difference for me, because no one has any idea about Maggie's past or where she came from. She just showed up and had a banged up leg and they chopped it off.
Yep.
And then 2.5 months later, I adopted her.
Yep.
So I don't know any of the people involved in her upbringing or any of that. And I feel like it would be so valuable, especially in that case, just to know what happened and what she went through and where she's going. Because like you said it perfectly with Penny, the love is there. She loves that love, and that connection is what is the strongest thing to bring you all together, and everything just sort of blossoms from that. Like she's the exact same way. She gets in trouble for loving people too much. Like she just wants to give you all the kisses all the time. And I would love to know how she became like that. And you sort of have an idea to that. And I think that's a very valuable tool as you move forward.
Yeah, I think like some of it is in the breed, obviously, right?
Man, those mountain dogs, the Burmese mountain dogs.
They're pretty awesome.
Just the colors, I love the coloring.
Yeah. And then there's the Greater Swiss. I don't think I'd ever heard of a Greater Swiss breed, but it's kind of a similar, from a similar area, I guess. So it's a common mix. I guess. And but the Bernese are a little bit bigger, a little hairier, whereas the Greater Swiss are a little like shorter hair, I guess, or a little more. Yeah, a little smaller. I mean, still a pretty decent sized dog, but
beautiful.
Not as lumbering as the Bernese mountain dogs are.
They can get big.
It's a nice, Oh yeah. Well, like I said, these ones that we saw at the Berry Barn were like, holy shit, like, those are big dogs. And I'm just like, oh my god, now we're gonna have to get one of these. Like, where are we going? And then this was, this kind of came up, and we found it. And it's
so happy.
It's a nice mix.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's like I cannot stress enough how much better life gets when you bring a dog in. Like it doesn't matter. Well, I guess it totally matters what situation you're in life, but all of those different situations become better with a dog.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're our best friend, not man's, not woman's, our best friend.
Yeah, and I think it was always, it was on the discussion, and we never had a dog in the city because I struggled. I grew up on the acreage with dogs, so to me, having a dog was like, it's an outside dog, run around, you play fetch, you adventure in the bush, you do whatever. So when this was 25 years ago when I bought a house in the city, that it was like, it's like whatever. And then I kind of told the kids, like, when we move out to the acreage, we will get a dog. And it was actually a year to the date. So we've lived out there for a year, August 18th, and we got Penny on August 18th, a year later. So
that's my mom Wendy's birthday too.
Oh, well, happy belated, Wendy.
It's a very good day right there, as we are talking all things dogs here on your show, hanging out with the All Outta Angst podcast crew, that being Matt from all the bands, including Tommy Demise, as well as Raven Witch and Into Eternity, as well as Uncle Mike, who you know from every single one of his all-natural products. Damn, promo code 20 still rolling. You want to get some of that deodorant? You restocked the deodorant yet?
I
know
did,
we're getting low.
Yep.
Restocked. Load up on that amazing deodorant. Use the promo code DAM20 at Uncle Mike's natural.com.
You got it.
Nailed it. And you'll get that 20% discount. And it is oh so worth it because the products are so good. Any turnover going on right now at the shop yet, or are we still sort of riding out the last of summer here?
Yeah, just kind of kept. Today was a busy day. I don't know. I I guess still just always catching up on stuff. I guess you're
Yeah.
never really ahead, so
I'm
you're always
learning
catching
that.
up. I guess
I
I
am
don't know.
totally learning that's all life is.
It's
Yeah.
I will be losing one of my employees to go back to school, so I will start the hiring process here again. Actually, Silas, my son, he's been in 2 or 3 days over the last couple
Don't
weeks.
tell the
and
child labor
he's-
board anything.
Yeah. Geez. Don't worry, I don't pay him.
He ain't getting paid. Don't you worry about that.
But he's actually really digging
Into
it,
it?
you know.
Oh, I love
and yeah, it's fun. Obviously, he goes back to school too, so not a full-time thing. And I brought the kids into the shop, you know, over the last few years or over the last many years. But this time he actually wanted to do stuff,
Yeah.
you know, like labeling product.
Some drive.
Yeah.
Right, like
Gotta love to see
like
that.
learn some things. So that was kind of cool because normally it's like, oh, we'll set you up with some coloring
Yeah,
or
sit in the
your-
corner
you
at your
know, right.
table.
And they do take it upon themselves. Like they've made little videos for me. They would make signs and like go and walk up and down the sidewalk, like petitioning. Yeah. And they're sitting on the computer like, what are you guys doing over there? And it's like, oh, nothing. And then I see, 5 minutes later, they've got a little sign like, come all to Uncle Mike's. And then they'd go outside and they'd walk up and down the sidewalk.
That work
and-
ethic, man. You're
Yeah.
showing them what it takes.
Yeah.
I love
It was
that.
great. So and then they kind of got into like, oh, we're gonna put some coloring pages out, and so they would either draw things. I mean, this was a few years ago when they were a little younger. They would draw pictures and put them at the counter, and like, by donation, take a coloring page or a
Amazing.
cutout, a little paper cutout thing. So. But yeah, lately they've been, or Silas specifically, has been a little more into the actual work. I mean, I think he's working towards a Lego thing, so he has a purpose. He's a little driven.
Always coming back to Lego.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Like I just learning how to be an entrepreneur and doing those things as a kid. Like
Oh, yeah.
my parents were so good about doing that. Like I know the first time me and Merbs did our lemonade stand, I made the lemonade and I didn't add any sugar.
Oh, no.
We were selling it to everyone, and everyone's like,
Delicious.
Yeah.
Someone needs to tell these kids
Yeah.
to fix this.
But yeah, we did stuff like that, and we had did a lot of like we would do like get tables at like trading card shows, and we would sell like we had like a trading card business and
Put all
lots
the
of
binders full and all that.
lots of stuff like that and it was just like those are skills that I brought into like starting the band and
Yep.
when we were learning out how to do our merch table and stuff.
Right.
It's all the
Yeah.
same thing, and just
Totally.
those are great learning lessons.
Yeah,
for kids.
and it's like obviously, as a parent, like I hadn't experienced this. I had been on the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
As a kid, doing your thing, getting your hustle on or whatever. But it's cool just to see your kids do it, I guess, right? And I'm
Absolutely.
sure our parents felt the same way, kind of.
Not
thing,
my
that-
parents.
No.
No, my dad would throw me at the shop. Say, go thread pipes, son.
Yep.
So I go in the back of the shop over in Nickel Plumbing. Shout out to Nickel Plumbing, by the way. Best plumbing and heating company in the universe. I promise you, hit them up. You will not be disappointed. So good at what they do. I would sit in the back, get the threader machine going, get the oil, toss a pipe in, lock it down, oil, thread, in, out. I'd do that for 4 hours. Get a little lunch break, right back in. 4 hours. Go stock the shelves with all the nipples and the 90-degree elbows and all that stuff. And normally when you gain that like drive and that want to be a working human being, all I could think about was, man, I need to play video games. Like it deterred me from wanting to become that hardworking man that my dad was or that my brothers were. Like I hated it so much. So like this is not something I could do.
But at the same time, teaching you that
I
maybe
guess.
that's not what you want to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true,
obviously,
too.
we have to work. You're going to have
Yeah.
to do something, but it's like, well, maybe.
I wonder how early they knew that I wasn't cut out for it. I bet you it was pretty early.
Probably pretty
Like
early.
once I graduated to be the plumber's helper, I'd go out on calls and I'd tell whoever was working. I would say, all right, I'm just going to be over here taking a nap on my jacket in the corner. If you need anything from the from the van, let me know. Just holler. So I'd just be napping away, like, hey, I need this 90-degree and 2-foot PVC and this and that. Like, got it. Get up, run out, grab it, throw it down, lay right back down. And no one could do anything because I was the boss's son.
Right. Yeah.
So
what are
it's
they,
like,
going
this
to
guy's
say?
such a
Yeah.
loser. And I went through all of that. And doing really hard work is what separates it, right? Like that's when, like I went from that to doing maintenance at the Willows.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'd be biking out there at 4:30 and I'd be falling asleep on my trap rake, and like running into stuff. Like I was just not good with manual hard labor, and I'm still not to this day. I don't know if you can tell or not, but I know that because of that journey of going
Right.
through all this stuff. Like I've done enough actual work to make sure my hands stay silky, soft, and smooth. And it's not just because of your all natural products.
Ayo.
It's because I just do a little bit of this and a little bit of this.
Yep.
I call them radio hands.
There you go.
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Yep.
But that's funny how that journey can go one
Yeah,
of two
it
ways.
can-
Like I'm
yeah,
sure
totally.
my brother just took right away. He's like, "Yep, I got this," and the switch just went off. And for me, it's like, what are you talking about? What are we doing here?
And I was kind of always envious of people that, like, in high school, like they knew what they wanted to do for the rest of their life, and
for sure.
and were happy about doing it, right? Like I never knew, and so in a way, I mean, it's cool now that, like, oh, I did this as a job, and I did that as a job, and I did this, and I was there for a few years, and did a bunch of different shit, which was cool, and I like new experiences and doing different things, but I still don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Well, that's another thing, right?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, well, I highly suggest starting a content creation studio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That
It's not even
sounds
that much work.
amazing.
I've been getting chirped today because apparently I'm wearing my stress a little bit, so I'm trying to bring it down and show the true me, as it's not stressful when it's something you love, and that's the key. That's what everyone always talks about. Either work 8 hours a day so you can enjoy the rest of your life outside of work, make all that money, put in the work that you hate, but then enjoy everything else, or put in the 8 hours or 10 hours and love everything you're doing and not be able to go out and do all the other things that money would allow you to.
Mhm.
That's sort of the line that we are on, one side or the other. So it's sort of
Yep.
interesting in that way.
And that's why it's tough for me right now, because I'm kind of at the first time ever in the middle of that, where I've got the landfill position, and that's, eats up a good amount of time,
Yeah.
It's a job.
doing it.
It's a full
and it
job.
allows me, but it's cool because it allows me, anytime I want to record something or get some studio time, I can do that. Or if I want to
Totally.
make some new shirts.
That's what you need.
Where
Yep.
back in the day, me and Murray, we would have to know exactly how many we thought we were going to sell,
Right.
and then scrape everything. we had to
Budgeted,
get-
very-
and then halfway through the tour, you're stressed out. And, like a lot of times we would have grants that we had applied for, but you only find out halfway through the tour if you get it or not.
Right.
So there's that
Oh,
stress
man.
and stuff. And
That's a fun little
so,
risk.
I loved, when we were all in, like kind of COVID is when it switched, where it kind of we realized it wasn't at this point possible to do it full time.
Yeah.
So and I wasn't able to do the guitar lessons or whatever because of all that. So I had to make the switch, and now I've kind of it's actually kind of a good balance. Like if I could work a little less, it would be great, but it's nice to get the money, and then you can still do your
Yeah,
music.
like
and
food and shelter are pretty awesome
they're
things to have.
like
you know?
really,
Appreciate those,
really
yeah.
great things to have.
You
yeah.
know? And that's, I don't know, I talk to a lot of people, and people are like, oh, you work for yourself, it must be the best thing ever. And it's like, yeah, at times it's great.
Yeah.
And at
But
times
with
it's
you
not so great.
24/7 too. with,
Totally.
Like a band or anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I felt
Or
the same
a
way at,
content studio.
with any other job. Like, yeah, I liked my job sometimes, and sometimes it sucked,
This is a perfect example. I absolutely adore doing this. When I get to just sit down, hang out with my bros, have a conversation, it's the best. This is why we started this. This is why we do what we do. It's all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. That's the stuff that gets you, the stuff,
Yeah.
like the real work.
Yeah.
Right.
And like we do it all so we can have this hour together to
Mm-hmm.
talk about life and catch up and stay connected as we move forward. And so I'm just very grateful that you guys can find time to get in here and do all this stuff. It's very
Right.
cool to me.
I'm grateful to have
Yeah, it
the
was-
space for the
I
opportunity.
kind of look at life pre Gary calling me before this your show and after, and it's kind of it's real pleasant. It's augmented my life.
It's just,
Yeah.
and that's all we've ever wanted here. And that's why I say you are family. Like you guys, once you're in here, you are a part of this family and you're a part of this thing. Like no one here is going to get rich. We all together will get comfortable. And that's all we've ever wanted. Nobody is here to make $1 billion because that's what everyone does. And we like to do things differently. We always say, what's everyone doing? Well, everyone's trying to make money. Okay, well, we're not going to do it in that way. We're not going to try to make $1 billion. We are going to try to support businesses that are in the same mindset that we are at, that we want to make the world a better place, and we will move accordingly so everyone can afford to be a part of that. And it's just such simple stuff that nobody does because everybody, I don't know if it's because everyone's hard up or everyone is just going through so much, but every single person is ruled by money. And we try to make sure we can have that fine line where people know that's not what we're doing.
Yeah, it's there's more to it than just that.
So
like
much
even
more.
like me meeting you and becoming friends with you, like to me there you can't put a price on that.
For
Or
sure.
like the whole
family.
I mean, you
The
could
whole-
if you like. I am always taking donations.
Hey, easy there, $1 million
Feel
man.
free to.
Everybody
Get
has a
outta
price.
Get out of here.
But no, you see it when you walk in, right? Like you see the producers, and like they're a part of this team too. Like we got on the ones and twos today, we got Noah in there hanging out. The Phenom, who is just a hand who you see, which we love, is like the not cousin
Right,
the
thing.
thing. I
Yeah.
always get them mixed up.
Yep.
And then you got guys like Royal Anders here, the guy that runs all of our website stuff and does all the design stuff. He just comes for our little meeting. It just so happens you guys are here.
Yeah,
So
with a
like,
fresh haircut.
We always,
maybe
he
even,
didn't.
too.
Did he get
Oh,
sexier?
looking good.
Oh my God. That's why he doesn't come on camera.
That's the summer cut.
Yeah, if he
So
comes
I'm
on
due.
camera, all the equipment will explode from his hotness.
I'm due for my biannual haircut and beard trim. Twice a year. That's,
Do you go in?
I go
got
in.
a place? Yeah?
Yep. Yep. And but yeah, twice a year. She
I
kind of
like
laughs at me. She's like, "You're not serious." I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's twice a year."
I don't think my hair has been cut in over 5 years now.
That's
Usually every
impressive.
2 to 3 years I do this where I just grab it and then just like cut off
Oh,
the
the
like
splitties.
Yep.
I got so many split ends.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
They've
it's
got a quality.
horrible.
Though, you know?
He made me think about that.
Oh, the suck and cut.
stick. The
Oh,
stick
no.
that you go on
Oh,
it
the-
with. That's like shampoo.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Suck cut.
No,
Suck cut.
suck
Oh,
and
as you
suck
can
and
see,
cut.
it
or
does
whatever.
suck. Well, it
Yeah.
cuts. Well, it certainly does suck. No, it's like the deodorant, but for the hair.
Right.
The shampoo stick.
Yep.
Maybe I'll order with DAM20 promo code.
There you go.
That might be a good move. As we continue on the Tuesday edition of your show, the All Out Angst podcast boys are in the house. Now, spent the first half of the show catching up as we got a lot of new exciting things. Royal Andy, Uncle Mike got a new dog named Penny. It's the cutest dog in the world.
Yeah.
I'll show you a
Want you to
pic
know.
after.
Yeah, you're gonna be in love. It's such an incredible story
pretty
too. So we had my again mother's birthday. Shout out to Wendy on it was actually on Sunday, but we had the party out at Echo Bay on Saturday. And on the way up, I was thinking of you guys because I had my little boom box thing that connects to this thing through a Bluetooth. I wonder if I turn my Bluetooth off. I always leave it on. Hey, it's off. Nice. And on there, I got these old playlists, and I was listening to a lot of music for a long time there, and then I had to stop because all of the music was so emotional to me because I'm this like new Gary, I talked about this earlier, Gary 3.0 version where I have like no outer shell that I created. So like all the music hits me like it normally does, and then you have all memories from all these songs, and I'm connected to all these punk rock songs. So I'm sitting there going through all the emotions on the ride up to the lake in the old Dodge, 93 Dodge Shadow, by the way. Like
What
a
a
cloud,
beast.
man. It was the most beautiful ride. Like I didn't slow down once I hit the highway. I set that cruise to 107 and I was just going. And it's just so nice to have a car that can do that. Anyways, beautiful vehicle. Highly suggest getting one. I had the old playlist going. And these old playlists, like there's so many things that we have talked about in there, including a lot of Dude Ranch, a lot of Lagwagon, a lot of No Use for a Name, a lot of No Effects, a lot of Propagandy. And with every song, well, look at that. A couple Untimely Demise songs in there, too. Maverick, and
nice
They Left
little
Nothing in there.
spattering.
Very nice. But what I wanted to get to was the amount of ska music that I had on here. And if you don't know what ska music is, it's like punk rock with, I don't want to say accordions, but with...
It's got the
It
horn.
might have
yeah, they got the
accordions.
horn. Sometimes, well,
Yeah.
No Effects likes to throw the old accordion in there every once in a while.
It's the up picking when you're picking.
There you go. Yeah, well, not that. I'm doing techno here. That's definitely not techno. But like Ska Sucks by Propagandy is a perfect example.
Ska song about
So
ska songs.
as I'm going through all of these ska songs that were on these lists, we've talked about before, and I'm always messing up the name of the All Out of Angst podcast with Against All Authority, which is my favorite ska band of all time. And I was listening to All Fall Down is on this one, and I had another playlist going. I just want to get your guys' opinion when it comes to ska music, because there was a point there, if you were a punk rock guy, you weren't allowed to like ska because it was for the wussies and it wasn't like punk rock. And then for me, like one of the big turning points, my two favorite bands, Propaganda and No Effects, both have ska songs. like a couple, like
Yeah,
is what they do.
especially that's so long, and thanks for the shoes. I
Right.
feel like that
Yep.
that album has
It's
ska
pretty
all over
ska-y.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy, and that's one of my favorite albums
Oh,
of all time. So
yeah.
that's what it's all about. Where do you stand on all of this? Are you loving it, or is it not for you, or
I don't
somewhere
like
between?
it. I love it.
Ah,
I'm a
there
huge
he is.
fan. Like,
He
no,
wants some more
yeah,
of it.
because like even bands like Goldfinger, like I like that kind of
Mm-hmm.
vibe, and
Dude, I forget the names of the songs. I'm gonna find them. Keep going.
even in general, like when the rock bands and stuff put in that kind of vibe to
Yep.
their music, I like that. Like I know Rush has got a few songs where they've got that kind of ska vibe.
Yep.
There's a Scorpion song called "Is There Anyone Anyone Out There" or whatever, and that's a ska type song. And I realized a few years ago, I'm like, you know what? I think I like ska. I
Yep.
like that
It's
sound.
it's happening. A Million Miles, Goldfinger.
Oh,
And it's a good F and answer. An F and answer. I'll give you a couple there. Uncle Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think I initially started not liking it, but I think my
We all
ska,
did.
what I thought ska was too, like, I don't know, like, not to put down Mighty Mighty Boss Tones,
That
but
was
like
it.
that was like really
Yeah.
The
ska,
impression
right?
that I get.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun,
Yeah, I feel like-
dun-dun.
But then it was like, oh,
Real
like,
Big Fish.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
and like that's maybe a little too ska-y for me, but like Mad Caddies, Suicide Machines, Against All Authority, Catch-22, Streetlight Manifesto, like they were a
Catch-22.
little more like I mean, you listen to Suicide Machines and it's like rooted in ska, but it's
Hard.
almost like hardcore, you know? It's got this like weird kind of vibey, and then you say like, yeah, No Effect, like So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes was basically a full ska album, but it was different than what I still envisioned ska. So yeah, there was like I said, those I mean Mad Caddies, Against All Authority,
Catch-22.
Suicide Machines is like one of my favorite bands, you know? Like,
Absolutely. Catch-22. And what was the song? When they come for me, I'll be sitting on my desk with a gun in my hand and a
With a
bulletproof
bulletproof
vest.
vest,
My, the time does fly when, and you know the song.
Yep.
When that got on, I was scream singing with goosebumps.
yeah.
And then I have all these memories of all these house parties we'd be at where that song would come on and everyone's going. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Like these songs that have actual, legitimate DeLorean moments that take you back to that exact time and place.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire trip to the lake was full of those.
Sweet.
To the point where I was overwhelmed by it. And I'm like, what the heck? Why have I not been listening to all this stuff? And I realized it's because of all the emotions attached to it.
Right.
And it's ska music.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
I wasn't a big, I wasn't skanking or
Yeah,
anything, but
ska dancing.
that
you
is
know?
a pretty good dance.
You know what?
I mean,
It's-
Operation Ivy, like, oh my gosh,
I
like it's,
love that album.
you know?
Man,
Yeah.
the dancing. The dancing, I think, was one of the biggest turnoffs for a lot of
Yeah.
us guys who were like, man, that's not a mosh pit. We're
Right.
just dun, 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 dun.
Or like the,
You know?
like fedoras, or like I don't know,
The
like
fashion.
they definitely
I know,
had
that
like
was the stuff that made me skeptical.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fedoras, suspenders, high pants.
yeah,
and doing
skinny,
this.
skinny folded
Yeah.
up jeans, but now I wear skinny folded up jeans, like,
And then you
I don't
get-
discriminate anymore anyway. Like it's
We're
ska,
all that aches, man.
hardcore,
We don't
punk
ain't got
rock.
time for that anymore.
I love it all.
Like, and then you get bands like Against All Authority who come out with like just the names of their songs alone. That like, what the f did you expect?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all about you're.
Oh, Voodoo Glow Skulls, who we were
Yeah.
supposed to, we
Yeah.
missed Voodoo Glow
Oh,
Skulls.
don't do that.
Yeah. Anyway, another story.
But like these, like even the album cover, like look at that, All Fall Down.
Oh yeah.
Like I had a couple Against All Authority, and like they have like the death metal stuff. Like these are all like mutated cops, and it's all about hey, don't believe these guys, and that's what we were raised on. Again, not an opinion by me. I'm just saying what they say. Okay? I don't know if you can really see it, but it's pretty dang badass. And I had that on a shirt, and I thought I was so badass, and then you play the music, and some of them are a little too ska. You're like, well,
Right.
man, that doesn't really add up.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, listen to this one.
Yeah, I think my issue, especially when I was a teenager, is sometimes just that amount of like horns and stuff. I just wasn't in the mood for the horn
Yep.
section of ska, and
Yep.
so I would find myself like skipping over the Mad Caddies on
Yep.
On the comp albums.
on the comp
Yep.
albums. But yeah, like now again, it's still kind of a time and a place when it's like full blown ska. Like I like the guitar, sound of like a ska. And like Goldfinger, but when it's like almost like big band sound, where
Right.
you've got like a full blown,
Yeah.
brass section I need to be in the mood for
Yeah.
that.
I totally hear you. And the weirdest part for me on that is that I love horns in music. Like when I discovered ELO, I was like, where has this been all my life? Like anything with those big band horn sounds, I'm all about it. But for some reason, in that punk
know.
rock structure, I was the same way.
Right.
It turned me off.
It didn't fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like for saxophone, I love the sound of saxophone when it's
So
like when
sexy.
there's like a jazz trio and just
Yep.
it's like that nice, smoky kind of reed.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I just want to do this.
But
That's
for
the-
whatever,
that's
when,
the dance.
when cool rock and roll bands that I like Thin Lizzy or even like Stevie Nicks puts like a sax solo in their song, and I'm
Yep.
like, nope, I don't
Yep.
like this. It's
Yep.
not for me. No.
That's a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
What's that? Like American Idol.
Yeah.
All
Oh
about
yeah.
impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Randy. Is his name
Yeah.
Randy?
But isn't
Randy
it?
Jackson.
It's a spoof though, or something. It's from some other show, and they're spoofing
I
that,
feel
or
I- oh,
no?
I-
Maybe
I
not.
already
I don't
showed
know.
every
I don't know.
card I had on that
Okay.
subject.
I know nothing.
Oh, hanging out with the boys from the All Out Inks podcast. That must mean it is Tuesday. Talking about dogs, talking about making your apartment complexes safer, as well as talking about ska music. So another thing that's a big sort of topic around these times, we've got fantasy football sports coming up here. I got a draft this weekend for the Bobby Good Times draft. I got a Daffle draft, and I got a high stakes fantasy hand egg draft going on out. I'm heading back out to Echo, well, not Echo Bay, just around Pistol Pete's new cabin that he's got. And the reason I bring this up is because there will be sitting around the campfire and there will be listening of music. And I'm pretty sure I told you guys the formula that we figured out before, but last draft was when I busted it out because I sort of kept track of all the different songs people enjoyed while we were hanging out around the fire. And then someone would suggest this or someone would suggest that. And we sort of come up with a playlist. So now whenever we go, we each take a turn putting a song on.
Yep.
So you'll kick it off with your song, and then, all right, you're next,
Yeah.
then you play your song. And that's how I sort of built these playlists. And I think I've mentioned this before because I love telling anyone who will listen. The opening song that I always do for when it's time to do these around the fire sort of music parties as we get ready for one coming up in a couple weeks is Steve Winwood's Higher Love. Now, I played a lot of music in front of a lot of people. And the reason Higher Love is so good in this situation is because it's one of those songs that no one will ever say, ooh, gross, I hate it, change it. Like the worst you're going to get for Steve Winwood's Higher Love is, hey, it's all right. And most people are like, I love this song. It's uplifting, it's happy, it's all encompassing for people. And when guys like us can't put on the music we really want to put on, that's always one of the ones I go to as far as those situations where stuff we really want to hear is not appropriate. You got any other songs like that? I know I'm throwing this one fresh and clean at you, so take your time. But any songs that you love that sort of transcends and everyone else loves? Tough question.
It's tough.
Tough question.
Generally, if I'm putting on music where I want it to be kind of semi-unoffensive but still like interesting to me, I do go to Thin Lizzy or the first
You got
5
those built-in
Scorpions
ones.
albums.
Yeah.
But again, like it's not like everyone knows it, but when you put on one of those songs,
Oh,
you're like,
you get a banger.
yeah, it's
People get into it, and that's knowledgeable enough. You know, that's not deep at all when you think about bands on a basic level.
Yeah.
Like you're not putting on like your death metal bands. Right? These are huge bands
No,
that
yeah,
everyone loves.
I understand, like, especially like our '90s punk rock. That's not for everyone. Like, it's nostalgic
try.
for
Yeah.
me.
We try,
but
we
like,
try.
Yeah.
sometimes
We can
people
push
don't
as
want
much
to be
as we
hearing
want.
that beat.
Yeah.
Heavy metal, clearly it's niche, and then
Yeah.
pretty much all the genres are kind like blues and jazz. That's
Oh, yeah.
some people might be like, oh, great pick, and other people are like, oh, I'm putting me to sleep type of deal. But
So I had
Absolutely.
kind of, I mean, I guess this would fit into that category. Never knew what the song was called. Never knew who sung it. But I must have heard it on a movie, and I was like, oh my god! And it's Summer Breeze
Oh.
makes me feel fine.
Yeah, Summer Breeze. Who sings Summer Breeze?
It's a weird, like, I looked it up, and it's
Someone we don't know.
someone we don't know. And you probably, like, I wouldn't have, I was like, oh, geez, I thought it was like Hall & Oates or like something, it's in that region
Yeah,
of time, I
sure.
guess, maybe.
I'm looking for
And,
my list, my actual super list that I have in here, and I don't know where it is because there's so many of those types of songs.
Yeah.
where it's just like no one knows who does them, but they're such bangers.
And
Like another person, like just not a band, a person, anything Kenny Loggins. Everyone loves Kenny Loggins.
Yes.
Whew. Man, he's like the voice of the 80s.
When I was reading I think it was Rob Halford's autobiography, apparently at that
Nice.
time, Judas Priest was offered to get a song in a movie, and this movie was going to be Top Gun. That was when they were putting out Turbo or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and they felt that was cheesy to have their or whatever,
Right.
so they turned down.
Hold on a second. Are you telling me that Judas Priest could have did Danger Zone?
Or not dangerous, but
It would have been-
it could have been like could have been Turbo Lover,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
which is I feel like it obviously was a huge thing and huge for Kenny Loggins, and then a year later Judas Priest put a song into another movie and it just flopped, and it's like
you
that
could have made
was
$1
a
million.
bad- It was a bad period for them, but
Well,
yeah.
dude, once you get on the Loggins, like if it's the 80s, that's who you go to. It's just common sense. The guy just crushed it.
That is another song on me and Aaron's wedding playlist. We had
What was that? I'm all right. Don't nobody worry about me. Was it Caddyshack?
Highway to the Danger Zone.
Oh,
All right.
That was your wedding.
Well, one of them.
Beautiful. I'd love to walk out, not to Danger Zone, but to the and just have that like escalating on the different scales until like the bride comes out
Aaron,
and then hit Danger
Yeah,
Zone.
she walked out to Jason Becker, Altitudes.
Noel would be so happy.
And then the two, once we got married, we played Death, Voice of the Soul. It's this really nice, beautiful, but yeah.
Of course.
It's very
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Well, your whole wedding was
Very
like that. Like
fit
you
for
guys
that.
had the
lanyards.
lanyards.
Yeah,
So like, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
such a cool
on the
time, man.
on the back we had like the running order for everything, and then we
Yeah.
had bus call at the end
So
of the night.
cool,
Yeah,
dude.
it was,
Like just I love when people do
it
different.
was, it
Like,
was really
can't
cool.
stress it
Like,
enough.
and like we were able to make a bunch of Erin's mom's like recipes because her mom's not with us.
Yeah.
So like we were able to like bring
Have her
her
that
presence
and
into
that was
it.
really
Cool.
Her
we
presence.
cooked these like family meals, and it was like a family style
Yeah.
meal. But it
So
just
cool.
like that's how you do it. You know.
That's how
Yeah.
you got to do it, man. And like I never really thought about this. My sweet beautiful prince, Hot Josh, is going through this as he has a wedding coming up in a couple weeks, and I'm very excited to be heading out to that. But he's going through playlist stuff, and playlists for weddings has got to be one of the most doesn't have to be stressful, but it's totally stressful things. Like I can't begin
if
to
you're
imagine.
not self-indulgent like me.
If
and
yeah,
Aaron.
see, you guys clearly got it figured out. Did you have some issues with your
Oh,
playlist?
yeah. Don't even get me started. I swear we made like a do not playlist, and that's all the guy played. I'm like, what the? Like he shows up late. It was like, and it was, you know, kind of a recommendation. I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't really, not that I didn't care about the wedding, but it was like, whatever you want, huh? You know, like whatever. And
It's her
like,
day. You wanna
yeah,
make her
and I
happy.
think it was my responsibility. It's okay. Well, you figure out the music, whatever.
Oh,
It's
boy.
like okay, like you know, I talking to buddies or send out a thing or whatever. I mean, this is probably pre-Facebook maybe even. And it's like, you know, does anyone know any DJs or whatever? And one buddy's like, yeah, I got this guy, and like, and I had known him kind of from, you know, previous years from something or whatever, like kind of knew him, whatever. And, you know, the price was right, whatever.
Yeah.
And we kind of gave him, it's like, hey, we want to make sure we have these and make sure you don't play these. He rolls in late. So, I mean, music should have been playing, whatever. And I think maybe he was doing the mics too. So when we were doing speeches or something, we didn't have mics. And yeah.
Sorry,
and
I
then,
brought this up.
Oh my God. And then he, yeah, basically played the no playlist. And I'm like, how in the hell, buddy? Like, how can you, yeah. Anyway, that was 15
I
years ago
apologize.
or whatever.
That's my
no,
bad.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm
Well,
not crusty about it.
And luckily, like Josh had talked to me about possibly being the DJ, but we got him to get on board with the greatest DJ in the history of mankind, the great Davey Wickstrom, our favorite Wickstrom brother. Shout out to as well the other two brothers, Sheldon and cousin Jeffrey over at Broadway Shoe Repair. Love you guys. Great family. But Davey's going to be around the 1 and 2s there, so I'll just be hanging out. But it's something that I can only imagine how many, you know, not fights have come up about that as you're getting ready for a wedding because you get stressed out. You got all the stuff. You got to deal with this, that, and the other thing. And then the actual entertainment part of it. To have it go wonky like that would
Well,
be a little bit of a thorn in the side of it.
And especially in this day and age, like you know, it was 15 years ago, I guess. So I mean, it's not like you're you're sorting through records and you're organizing. It's like you make a freaking playlist on your computer or your iPod and you push play.
Totally.
Like that's it.
With that
And you screwed that up, buddy.
With
Come
that
on.
Being said, for our wedding, I just set up our PA system and plugged in a CD player to go into that. And we acquired all the music, like some of them we had from our CDs, and like we went to like the library for ones where we're looking for like obscure 90s, like pop songs. We like
everything had a hard
took
copy.
them out of the library and like ended up burning CDs, So now we've got all those CDs.
That
but
collection.
we did it very like 1990s, even though it was.
But now you have that physical collection too,
Oh,
right?
it's
Of
so
your
cool. Yeah.
Special day.
Yeah, I know. Like we had a ratio. We would only put a metal song every 3. That was kind of like the. There's a good pocket. I forget. It's like I think it's like Snow Informer into Family Matters theme song into like Angel of Death or something. But it's like it's pretty like no one else has ever done that at a wedding.
I'm trying to Family Matters. How did that one start?
It's
a rare condition this day and age. Yeah, that's a banger, dude. Have that rated. Raining blood.
Yeah, it's.
See,
Because that like people are like, oh yeah,
it's nostalgia, it takes you back, and I think that was my thing, I guess, that like I was like, I don't know what music play because no one wants to listen to my music, so I couldn't even really contribute to what, and we just had a no playlist, right? And then he put
for us, the only times we were like close to like having disagreements was like I wanted to slough in some like no effects and a few of those things, and I understand it doesn't really mean the same to her. So like I was like, well, we at least need to have
being
some.
aware of that,
and then the other one is like, I really wanted Jurassic Park theme song, and like she's like, it's kind of stupid. I don't know, and like, yes,
you could slow dance to that. I mean, there you go.
Beautiful.
But
are you guys big Jurassic Park fans?
I'd say I'm a fairly big fan. Like I 90s movies in general.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like Jurassic Park has this huge following, and I never got into it. And I'm always trying to figure out why. I love dinosaurs. Shout out to Stegosaurus Rexes. They're my favorite. I think movies are great, and I don't know why I didn't make this incredible connection that everyone else did. Like, I remember exactly where I was when I saw it for the first time with a bunch of my friends in grade 7, just over here at my friend Kathy's house. And I was like, it's okay, but it didn't connect for me. And I always felt like there was something weird about that I didn't make that connection to Jurassic Park. I feel like you're the same way.
I would feel similar.
I feel better.
It's like, whatever.
I like it. I would take like a T2 or Back to the Future over it any
now
day.
we're cooking, People hold Jurassic Park there.
I'd say I'm a fan. I'm going to go on the record.
Well,
no one's going to judge you.
And it's got a longer running, right? Like, how many Jurassic Parks have they made?
Yeah.
6 of them,
And
like
I knew the song right away. Everyone watching knew right away when you said Jurassic Park. So there's something there. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's John Williams. Like he can
The
do
greatest
no wrong.
to ever
Home Alone theme.
do it.
He did Jurassic Park.
If you remember
Star
any
Wars.
score, it was John Williams. Indiana Jones, like all that. Like,
what about Hans Zimmer?
Oh, Hans Zimmer is great.
I was just going to say
great.
Hans
Yeah.
Zimmer.
Another one I see a lot of times. And then we have the same last name, so I'm hey!
We always watch like all of our Christmas movies, and at the holiday, Hans Zimmer does that. And we actually have like the CD for that one. So
I actually got a list from Coach Mazer. Okay. Shout out to Coach Mazer, who you see on this very show as well, starring on the incredible Dude Podcast, episode 2 out right now, episode 3 dropping on Thursday. It's a lot of fun. Every time we hang out, he sends me a list, and he always goes, get Matt to do that song. Get Matt to do that song.
What do you got?
So he's got a whole bunch of them, and I believe one of them.
I still have to do the ending Tetris one.
Yeah, the Tetris one. Baseball Stars. So Baseball Stars, the theme music, and then the fire player music, then the higher player music, then the end music with the lyrics. That's his idea for a progressive punk song.
Okay.
So I'll send that to you. And he's got some more that we want to send to you, and we'll restock up, as we love when you take these things and run with them. It's very cool.
Well,
I think I'm due for.
Well, and that's another great example of how this place works, as in the magic of it. Because all we say to you is, hey, check out this Nintendo song. Then you come back with something that we use for walk-up music and stuff that we use for like all these different things. Like, you're a huge part of the imaging, not just for this show, but for the network. And the fact that we can just give you little ideas and you can turn it, that's what everyone does here. It all starts with little
And
ideas and it
like,
just
that's
grows.
the dream when you get into playing music is
Yeah.
you want to be able to do stuff like this. Oh, that'd
Exactly.
be cool to be able to, do a
And-
theme
For
for
sure.
a show.
And to have
or-
a place to show it off.
Yes, exactly.
so
it's,
cool.
Yeah,
So-
it's awesome.
I'm with
I
you,
am
buddy.
forever grateful to you, Gary.
No, I'm forever grateful for you and for you. Before we get the Frankie's fingers ready to go here, you guys warmed up? Have you done your stretches?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. that's
Can I
good.
do one shout out? I got
Absolutely.
my Aunt Wendy and Uncle Bill in, and I'm going over to do some queuing at my parents. Gonna be hanging with Mervs and stuff. So
Yes.
shout out to them.
Shout out to the family. Any shout outs for you, young man?
All the people out there.
Nice.
Every single one of you. You're
like
just as
Santa
important.
Claus with the
there you
shout-outs.
go.
You
That's
and you,
okay,
not
yeah.
you, and you.
You.
Especially
I like you. I like you.
Not cool.
You. Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
that half baked?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
half baked when he's quitting in the
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
store.
If you, you're cool. If you,
Yeah. Oh, my kids,
I'm
Silas and Laurel.
There
Big
it
shout
is.
out to them, my
Hey.
biggest fans.
for working in the shop.
Yep, exactly.
Very well done. As well as our friends over at Sutner Concrete Services, Nickel Plumbing, Deneb Finishing. We're hitting the golf course here tonight, as in the NES Open golf course. So that'll be fun.
Yes.
Dr. Hausman and Associates for the Tooth Booth, our friends over at Commander Cookout Podcast, as well as our pals over at PropertyGuys.com, and everyone else involved here with this incredible movement that we have started. And that movement being, we need to make this world a better place, because it's not very fun out there right now. So with each show that we do, I like to feel like we're putting positive energy into the world, and we're getting things back on track. So thank you to everyone involved. Phenom, why don't you head over to camera 3 here, give us one more wave to let us know that you're ready to do some Frankie's Fingers. There he is. What a sweet princess. Have you ever had just a handwork for you?
I like that.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
it's kind of what I would like, 'cause sometimes I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
This one can't talk, right?
Right?
And we
Just
are
do the
rolling,
work.
boys,
Just
so
do the work.
Go ahead and begin. What a day today. I want to thank everybody who was here. Network Ryan, he was in here doing a bunch of stuff. The Dragon was in here before doing a bunch of stuff. We have LB in here as well. You just saw the Phenom over there. Toriel Landers, thank you for coming by. All of our boys, the Bamford & Co. podcast. New episode dropping tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that as we were hanging out with them today. Our friend Kevin over at Hammer Time Roofing. Love him. New episode today of The Viewing Room. Be very cognizant in watching that, because those guys, man, it's the producers. That's LB and Dragon doing their own show, and they do it so well. So new episode there today. I also saw some of the teasers, and they are absolutely incredible. Also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Sound Hearing Impressions, Cassandra and the team over there, doing great things as they hooked us up with these custom ones, and they are so incredible. Before I messed with it because I think it was falling out, now I mess with it to make sure it's still there because you can't feel it. And to you, most importantly, for being here whenever we hang out and taking part in these incredible little parties we throw each and every day from 4 to 5 p.m. As we will be back tomorrow. We will have our friend Adrian Malarchon in from Australia, our Australian correspondent, author, speaker, and so much more. We'll see if we can get Coach Mazer in here as well for that one. So until then, remember, karma is very real. Do good things, and you'll notice good things will start happening to you. That's how I got this incredible dance beside me. You know how they have like lap dances? I feel like this is like a side dance. We can make side dances famous. 'Cause I really feel like the energy coming off of this is enough to power me through. Hey, ska dancing, that's what he's doing. This is the
Skanking.
impression
Look at him,
that
look at him,
I
he's
get. The movie Basketball. That's what I'm all about when it comes to Money Boss Stones or Real Big Fish. They have a song called Beer that's really good. I think I'll have myself a beer. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much
Love you too.
for being a part of this. Damn 20 promo code. Go use it at UncleMike'sNatural.com, all right? Have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Great job, man.
Bye-bye.